Well, hey everyone, time for Geocache talk. And if you'll bear with me, we've had a few problems today.
Nah, everything always goes perfect. What are you talking about? Nothing ever
it
happens
always
behind the scenes.
it always goes perfect. That's okay. All right, we're ready now for the show. Hope you're ready for the show because here we go. Because it's time for Geocache talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts. I don't know. There are tons of them out there. Radio Public, and of course, Spotify. So you can get all the weekly Geocache talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Electric Water Boy, Aggie Jedi Master, Antaeus, Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, Sodak Zach, the Deadliest Cachers, Terrell 2, Neil Moore, Team D&D, Geocaching Adam, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Curiosity Girl, Tick Magnet, Marsipanic, Bricker John, Firesafe, FS Sabero, Geo Rick, Cache Addict Mel, Geocaching Janji, the Geocaching Junkie, Sir Drumalot, Janice, Tricassius, Tom Frey, Rugels, the Bruce Zero, EGK PBR, Casamaya, Master Sergeant USMC, Little Gears, Albedo 0.39, It's Only Barney, Purple Turtles 3, ACDC Family, None of It Tidy, AFK Geocaching, Josh Boggs, Carrot Killer, Korsgat, Geocaching with Lampe, Bryn Tim 07, Dave and Karen at Cache Canada, Team Tailwagger, Black Chrome, Super Nate, The Twonky, Burnt Turtles, Padib, Kazelli, Dragon, Gunter Hunters, Acme Wild Cachers, P0001, ADK Sarah, and our new patrons, Eastern Girls, Billy Robson, getting my head on myself, Fox and the Hound, TX Wolf Totem, K Blast, Landlocked Pirate Fam, Statuki, Burns Fire, Hockey Zombie, Ship to Shore, A Holly S, Geo Dandrew, and Dire Wolf 821. If you'd like to become a patron and be part of this great group, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get X tags, new blackout coins. Ooh, there. Let me grab it right here.
Yeah, I love my blackout coin.
There we go. Blackout coin, baby. Yes.
Those are slowly coming out to patrons. We're
almost there.
2 people sending them, so
yeah,
it takes a little bit.
Takes a little bit. We're getting there. I think I'm down to a couple that I missed. So they're going to be taking care of those tomorrow. So not a problem at all.
And I'll admit I'm slow. One lady in Colorado still didn't have hers out of the Colorado group. It will be coming shortly, I promise.
Cool. And other geocaching items during the year. We've got something coming up that we're not going to talk about. Don't you love that? Always love.
Save it for another show already.
Everybody loves that. Save it for another show. But we do have something coming up. Probably winter time. We've got something we'll just be discussing about patrons. And bonus content. We're going to keep adding some more bonus content for everyone. Invites to special events that are only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. So let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening.
And let's jump right into show 112. 112. Can you believe it? We're up to show 112.
Yeah.
It is a bunch.
Funny. The word show 112 here, we're my Monday morning coffee events are about to hit 100.
Oh my god.
100 events, 100 weekly events in a row.
That is awesome.
I say mine. They're not mine, right? I started it.
Well, no.
There's a whole group of us doing it. I haven't hosted one actually in a while now. Somebody else is hosting it. So
yeah.
But yeah, 112 shows ago. That's a long time ago.
It is. 112 shows.
And we're only going to like 120 and then stopping, right? Isn't that what we're doing?
Don't tell people that. No,
that's what I signed up for. What are you talking about?
No, you signed up for the long haul, dude. I don't know if you read the fine print.
You own my soul forever now, huh?
Yeah, look at your contract. It's about page 47, I think. And it's down there toward the bottom, and it basically says that you basically have to be on the show forever until you die.
I just did it for the free trackables. What are you talking about?
The free trackables. I love it. All right, show 112 for August 19th. As we call an audible.
Yep.
We had John Bishop on, and we were having some technical difficulties. So we're going to hope everybody who's on will stay on, as we are going to do another show tonight that we're very excited about. It's one we had planned to do later, which is cool because we at least plan ahead a little bit. And we're going to have John on at a different time. We're going to talk with him about caching the waves, which they just did Alaska, and they're going to do the Bahamas. We really want to talk to everybody about that, what the possibilities are that you could be part of that cool trip. But tonight we're going to talk about an interesting topic, which is needs maintenance / needs archiving.
Yeah, and we've talked about this offline before, and we disagree on some of these, but
we do.
I may be harsher on some than you, and you may be harsher on some than me. So we'll go kind of back and forth and see what everybody in the chat room kind of has an opinion on this. And I think this will, when we get into that after our news, I think this will be interesting because I think it'll show a difference based on where you cache and how long you've been caching.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And there's sometimes when I even debate. I've been doing this since 2006, and there's times when I debated like what maybe I should do, you know, and so we're gonna have a good discussion about this. And so yeah, again, chat room, feel free to jump in on any of that. And you know,
it's Coon and Bud's birthday.
Oh, is it? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent Kendall a note today, so good for him.
I think you ought to sing him happy birthday on the air. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to do that, but
not so much. Okay, maybe off the air.
This doesn't apply to Kendall, but do you know that there is a sucker born every minute? I don't know if you knew that or not, but anyway, could be.
So the news. I think there's some interesting news tonight. So
there is some cool news. Let's start with we are giving away another clue tonight.
Oh yeah,
at some point,
probably even during the show, right?
Maybe during the show. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's always possibilities, but this is going to be specific clue number 3. We're done with the general clues; they're out there
for now.
For now. No, yeah, I don't know if we'll do any more general.
Come on now, who knows?
We might. Yeah, right. For now, but at least we're going to let you know. Tonight's is a specific stash clue, and this one is considered clue number 3. So, yeah.
And you know, we. I can't even say right now. So yeah. It's so hard not to give things away.
Oh, I know.
I get excited about it, and knowing that they're working on it and we can't play. That's what. It's like when you put out a cache, right? You publish a cache and you're waiting for that FTF. You're like, come on. You're just sitting there waiting on the indication for when you publish a cache. You know that people are working on it like a puzzle, and you can't really be part of it. That's the bad part about it.
Right. Yep.
All right. So news.
So the news. We've got a couple notes. Let me go up to the top here.
So virtual rewards. The last day for that is Friday.
Wow.
If you have one, please put something in by Friday. We've only got 2249 out of 4,000 published so far. Now there could be some in the queue, but
possible.
We only have till Friday. So if you have one, put something out. And we've been talking in the area to some people that have one but didn't really have an idea for one. So we've tried to help somebody. So maybe there'll be another one in Colorado. I saw another one the other day that came out that I didn't know. So they are starting to show up a little bit in our area, but ours came out, me and some friends. We had
Mhm.
4 of them that came out together in the Four Corners, so that you can get 4 by visiting one place, but they're all 4 in different states actually. So
That is
that's
cool.
kind of cool. And
That
people have been
was a
wearing them
good
out.
idea.
They've been going.
That's awesome.
But yeah. So the last day is Friday. If anybody has one, please, please, please put it out. Have a good showing. Put something good out, or at least put something out. Right, just at the end. Make it
Yeah.
easier. Local park, anything. Not McDonald's, but
No, and there's that saying, no one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
right. Jump in, do it. Don't, you know, you've got to get out there and do it, or don't complain that we, don't have virtuals coming back. This is that
Oh,
chance, right?
we love virtuals, and virtuals I know make me happy, and the noblest art is that of making others happy. And I love virtuals. I know you do too. We've always talked about how virtuals, there's something about them, and I'm so glad that we were able to be part of getting geocaching.com to
Mm-hmm.
come out with something like this. So it means a lot to us. So definitely get your virtuals out there. If you need help, definitely email geocachetalk@gmail.com, and we're here to help. So
Email us. Yeah, you got till Friday. So if anybody has one,
or if you know
anybody,
somebody who
don't
has
have an
one,
idea. If you know somebody that has one, we have some ideas. We'll help you get one out.
yep.
I know there's only days left, but you have to have something submitted by the 24th, I believe. So we'll see. We'll see what the final total is after that. I think it'll take a couple weeks, even after that date, to get the last one submitted published. But we'll get them right.
Yep.
Get those history caches in.
One thing I forgot. One thing I forgot. And we're kind of scattered around a little bit, but I did forget that there's more loot. Can I mention that real quick, and then we'll get back to the news. So we got some more loot that showed up in the stash, which is pretty kind of cool. That we're talking about these stashes that are all over the lower 48, but yet stuff is showing up in them, and yet I can show them to you. Like I said, it's sort of
virtually filling up.
That crazy physics, it's one of those weird
right.
deals. But so not one Cashly coin, but let me put these down. 2 Cashly coins. Thank you, Nick at Cashly. We're going to put out these 2 Cashly coins
added to the stash. Nice.
Are in the stash, as well as 2 tags. Cool. Let's see if I can get it. So these are not
working on it with somebody else. Now they don't have to. It's easier to share.
Yeah. So there's 2 of them in there, along with this whole. I got the stash right here, by the way. And it's full. It's got books. It's got coins. Oh my gosh, I forgot to show this before. It's got these cool Borman 3D printed caches.
I like it.
Cool. We've got coins. That's a Chris Mackey coin. Cool.
Nice one.
We've got a John Paul Barr coin.
There you go.
We've still got a DuckTales trackable. That's gonna become like that's gonna be like collectible now, I guess.
That's right.
They've been out. They're kind of. That's an old. So here we go. Putting these in. So it's all good. All right. Sorry about that. Let's get back to the news. I've interrupted us enough for the moment. Oh yeah, Sophia finds the geocache. I didn't want to crumple it and put it in the thing, but I've got Sophia's finds the geocache.
Well, and there's other things that are virtual things in the virtual cache, right? Or there will be as time goes on, memberships and other stuff like that. So
yes, absolutely. And that's
all the stuff a cacher needs, right?
Yeah, and this has been important for us to and we've been very thankful for people like Nick at Cashly. We're going to be mentioning some other people, some other companies or sponsors who are involved. And as you know, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing.
That's right. Things go away.
All right.
So moving on from virtual rewards, you got till Friday on that.
Yep.
Oh, we haven't even mentioned it yet. This weekend, did you get your cash this weekend and your souvenir? It was International Geocaching Day.
It was International Geocaching Day, and we're still moving.
Oh no!
I know I missed one. But I got to see a lot of cool caches that were found, so I was pretty excited about seeing. I mean, a lot of people got out. I feel bad because of I love our international guests and our international listeners. We were going to, and we're still in the middle of moving. This room is sort of set up, kind of. The podcast room is sort of set up, but I apologize. Please don't take it personally, international folks.
Not a sign of anything. You're not angry.
No, don't make it. Yeah, and so hopefully they understand that we're still we did the whole swap of houses. So my son bought our house, and we're renting where they used to rent, which sounds like a great idea until you actually do it. And that doesn't really work out too well because one house is full of stuff and another house is full of stuff. And where are you going to put it? Both full of stuff. Yeah. So it's kind of like, how do you swap the two? And so we were able to do it, but oh my gosh, we were wiped out. So anyway, but did you? I saw you probably found one.
I did. So we did a cool thing this weekend. There was a fundraiser for suicide awareness in Northern Colorado. So it was a big thing. Okay. So hundreds of Jeeps lined up, did a parade, ended up in Estes Park. It was a really neat thing. So since we ended up there, and we were doing part of that. That was Saturday. We went ahead and found a new virtual reward that came out in Estes Park right there at the end of where we went to. So
perfect.
Yeah, it worked out. It was an easy one. I was very thankful it was an easy one because we were soaking wet because top was off on the Jeep and it rained on us. But it was fun. It had a blast. But this was just go to the park and take a picture in front of the statue, which normally I'd have been like, meh. But I was very happy to have it there. And there was a neat little story to it too. So, it's it got the thing. I had to find a cache. We were going to an area where I'd cached a lot of them out. So, I'm glad that new one was there.
Yeah, I was going to
check out the souvenir. So
cool. Very good.
All right. Continuing on in the news.
I like that one, by the way, too, because they do it every year. So I kind of like that because you can go back and look and see. I think this will be the first one I missed in years.
Shame.
So, I know it's bad. The problem is that I need to keep a couple nearby. I just don't have any nearby. I mean,
IB Geocaching is having a sale on their nano containers in honor of International Geocaching Day.
I saw
That's cool.
Those look kind of cool too. They're plastic nanos, so they're kind of different.
So moving on with the news, the webcam watch. We are at 110 US and 268 total. That's about the same as what we've been. So we haven't taken a dramatic drop recently, except one of the ones that just came back here in the US went back on the disabled list.
Oh man. So
and it's one here in Colorado too. So I'm kind of watching it closely. I think they're just having camera issues, and I don't know how many times they'll get to bring it back and disable it before, they axe it all together. So
I hear you. It's not the giraffe cam, is it? Or
no, that one's still there. This is the Pearl Street webcam.
Oh,
near the bike shop.
Yep, I remember hearing about that one,
which is a good one when when the camera's working or whatever. So. Next item,
webcams. Yep.
There's so many things going on right now with internet. I figured another couple weeks I'll have another promotion because they've been doing a bunch of those lately. But, which is good, right? They're doing stuff.
Yeah, they are.
The AR caches.
Okay.
There are currently 400 of them out there. So, what is that? 132 more than webcams worldwide.
Yeah.
I think there's a full fizzy worth of them.
Is there really? That's cool. I didn't realize that.
It could be. I know that there's both ends of the extreme and several through the middle. I didn't check the full fizzy, but it looks like there's a little bit of everyone. The interesting thing with that, and people tend to forget, is We're not very far from September 6th. It was only a
Mhm.
3-month trial period.
Yeah, I'm sure hoping they keep them though. I'm really
So,
kind of
what do you think this means? So, I pulled this specifically for a note so I could read it directly.
okay.
At the end of this time period, Geocaching HQ will decide if the published caches will be grandfathered or archived. So it sounds to me
Grandfather.
like either way, you can't put any more out after September 6th. First of
Ye-
all, now they're either going to keep them or archive them, which means you
I'm
can't find them anymore. If they're archived, you can. If they're grandfathered, you just can't put any more out.
right. I'm kind of thinking
So,
what they mean by that
hmm,
is here's what I'm thinking. See if this matches up. I'm
okay.
thinking they're going to treat it like challenge caches. So they're going to do a mandatory stop and moratorium, and then they're going to evaluate. And when they come back, kind of like the challenge caches. If you have
The
a
new
very
challenge
old,
cache,
well,
not the old
right,
challenge cache.
but
Okay.
if you had an old challenge cache, weren't they all grandfathered?
Well, it depends. So,
Okay.
no,
Oh, they weren't all grandfathered.
the
Oh, I
old
thought they
challenge
were.
caches are the same as the new. Well, it depends, right? They had those other things called challenges, geocaching challenges. Do you
Yeah,
remember those?
yeah. So if they didn't
Those
meet the new,
disappeared and they took
okay.
all those out of your stats. Those
Oh,
are all
okay.
gone. But then the challenge cache that's under the unknown type, the
Right.
old ones just stayed around. They
Okay.
put a moratorium on it for about a year and then they brought them back out. They're the same as the old ones. There's
Right.
nothing different. Remember, they were going to evaluate then whether
Mhm.
they were going to have a new cache type, a new icon, and they never finished. They just didn't do that.
Okay.
I think they're still under review, so to speak.
Right.
But so
Yeah.
are
Yeah. We've
the
never
AR
heard back yet,
caches
have we?
and these
Yeah. That's crazy.
um well, the AR ones are right now. So I don't know. So I think AR and challenge caches are under review.
Okay.
They never came out and said, okay, we decided challenge caches are just the same.
Yeah. They never really kind of closed the book, or not closed the book,
No.
but they never really solidified what they were even doing with those, did they?
No, they said we're not done. So
And
uh
that's
but you
been
know
a
what? That's better
year.
than them taking away.
No,
The
that's
one that
true.
really scared me was those challenges they had.
Hmm.
Now, I agree with them that I don't remember what the difference was. What they called it geocaching challenges, right? Like the little take a picture thing, the virtual thing.
Yeah.
But it showed up on your profile for a little while and they decided these are crap and they took them off your profile. So you didn't
Hmm.
get to keep the credit for them,
Right.
which was weird, either the hide or the find. Surely they wouldn't do that again, hopefully, right? That would be terrible.
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't
That would
know.
mess up all kinds of stats.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that. I agree with you. That doesn't make any sense. So,
And I kind of like that they're evaluating this AR thing and they get it for a short period of time. How
mhm.
many have you found?
Oh, there's, I've got mine's out. That
Mm-hmm.
mine was the first in Texas, but I've not found one yet.
I have
Yeah,
not found one at all yet.
I know.
I've
Now I'm
put
glad
out
they're out.
3, or I
Yeah,
put out 2 myself, and then help somebody else build one, and then help somebody, help other people build them.
yeah.
And nothing for me.
Let me go look real quick because I've got a ton of people who have found my AR. Of course, I tout it. Well, it is. It was the very first one in.
Yeah,
Because you got the first one in Colorado. I've got the first
yeah,
one here. I've got 15 favorite points on it already, and
nice.
it's been found, especially for here. I mean, I live in Greenville, so come on. I've got 28 finds, and I have people that come from other parts of Texas just to find that.
Yeah,
Fortunately, there's a bunch of cool caches across the street. Otherwise, I kind of feel awkward about people coming all the way to Greenville, Texas, and then going, okay, what do we do now? It's like, well, there's a couple more in town, I guess. But no, we have some really cool. In fact, my there's the one across the street that's my solar, my sundial. where you have to use the sun to find it. So I got another one with a lot of favorite points nearby. But yeah, I hope they stay around. I want to do some. I'm sure there's some in Dallas area. Our little group is going on our geocaching, our next geocaching adventure here in 2 weeks. So I'm planning on trying to find one in the DFW area.
Cool. Well, I'd find it before September 6th.
I know it will be.
There's a 50-50 chance that they'll be unable to be found after that point.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll archive them and lock them.
That's weird. I don't know. I would think wouldn't you think they'd leave them out there though?
I don't know.
That's weird. We don't know.
But if you're going to put one out, you're thinking about it, just reach out to somebody else that's done one at this point, and they can help you walk through it. It's easy. And at least you can get one out before the end of because it may be gone. You may not have a chance. They may decide that they're not worth it, right? Or they need some more time on the drawing board. And it may not come out for another year or something. Or they may just be grandfathered and say there's no more that can be put out, but the ones that are out there can stay.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to stay out there for a while. I really do. But anyway,
if they're grandfathered, that means you can't adopt them out to anybody either.
Right.
I think that's the other rules, right? So I don't know, but there's those things, virtual awards, get those out by Friday. AR caches, get those out by September 6th. And if there's webcams anywhere, go get them. So
always go get those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are critical. Okay. Too busy reading the chat room. Let me stop reading the chat room.
I know. It'd be silly if someone puts one out on September 5th and the Groundspeak archives it on September 6th. You could be the only one to ever find that cache, though.
My guess is they're going to leave them out there, but they're not going to let you create any new ones. Is my thought until they work out what they want to do.
Oh yeah, IB Geocaching brought up a good point too, and then we'll get into the show after this, right? In the chat room. They said when they did away with challenges,
at
least they were virtual, so there's nothing to remove. So he's talking about those earlier geocaching challenges.
Yeah,
that's a good point. What did I say? There was 500? No, there's 400 of them out there worldwide now. If they archived them September 6th, how many do you think are going to be out there? Or people are going to go, I'm not going to pick that up.
We left all the trash. Yeah.
They would need maintenance. We should have a show about that.
Yeah, let's do a show on needs maintenance, needs archiving. What do you think? Why not?
That's right. That leads us right into it, right?
Exactly. So we're going to talk tonight. We're going to start with needs maintenance, and we'll jump over to needs archiving here in a moment. So, needs maintenance, which is the little red wrench, right?
Right. Which can you even, for a while, you couldn't hit that. I'm going to have to check real quick. For a while, you couldn't do that on the geocaching app. They were updating. I think they've changed it now, right?
It's a mess. Yeah, I'm sorry. I love you, geocaching.com, but your thing is a mess. And I wish they would.
So let's see. Log geocache. Found it, did not find it, and write note. So I think under write note, you can. How does that work?
You have to go.
Obviously, I don't use their app except for the messaging thing.
I know. I don't either. It's just
test note. Post, and that was it. It won't let me do any maintenance.
Yeah, Jim Finch in the chat room says I couldn't on their app. You can. I'm trying to remember how you do this. There is a way to do
some weird way to do it, and then you change the note or something.
We should know this. We're experts, aren't we?
No, I am not an expert in their app. You can be the expert in that. I'm not doing it. I love geocaching and geocaching.com, but
look, go to Cachely.
Dang.
Let's fix this.
Cachely, I can do that. My 5-year-old can do that.
Right. You go to Cachely and you choose needs maintenance or needs archiving, which we'll get to.
I know you can do it online. If you go online, you can definitely do it. It's just the app. And So why do you think they did that? I've got my guesses, and I don't think it's
Oh.
because they have bad programmers.
To discourage
Hold
people
on,
like
Steve's
us.
in there. Steve's in the chat room. He only uses Geocaching's app. Steve,
Oh, yeah, Steve.
can you mark a needs maintenance from the app,
Yeah.
from the geocaching.com app? So we'll see what he puts on here. But here's my guess.
Okay.
They made it at least hard to do because so many new people just download the free app or whatever and don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
So I guess they figure that by the time people have gone online and messed with that, they've learned a little bit about it and know how to do it properly, which is kind of what we're going to talk about opinions. That's Cache, though. That's an easy one.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. Here's the app you use. See? Found it, didn't find it, right note. Needs archived, needs maintenance. It's right there. So,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. So let's go over some situations. First of all, how do you feel about putting needs maintenance? Does it make you feel bad? Do you?
Here's what I've been doing lately because of a lot of my caching lately has been around work. And so, and I've been finding a bunch. And here's the thing is I would say I cached out the area around my work, but there's a lot of smileys now around where I work and I can't travel. I've only got so long for work. I can't travel, to Fort Worth and back in time. So the ones around me kind of mean a lot to me. And the ones that I haven't found yet, which I'm very excited about, many of them. And I've got some DNFs, and that's for a whole other show. But I've marked DNFs, and I'm excited to go back. I've actually avenged a couple of mine. But there are some caches that I want to find. I guarantee you, if somebody who owns it would just get a note saying that there's a problem, and it's so I have been doing needs maintenance a lot more lately, and it's not just. And I'm pretty. Let me preface this. Be very careful about needs maintenance, and especially needs archiving. We'll get into that here in a minute. But for needs maintenance, I personally, I still am very, very, very careful that I feel that it absolutely needs maintenance and it's not there. Does that make sense?
If what needs maintenance? The cache?
If the cache. Well, right. Now, if there's a real problem, like you open it up and it falls, it's falling apart, but hopefully you didn't break it.
So what about if there's a full or wet log? Is that a needs maintenance for you? So I know that you're shyer about this than I am because we've cached together.
Yeah.
You used me on a needs archive, which we'll get to in a minute. But
that's different, which, by the way,
we'll get to that part.
We got that one that I told you about.
Yeah. Okay, so log full or wet?
Log full or wet? No.
No needs maintenance? Because I think some people do.
Lots of people do. I don't see a problem with people doing that, but what I do is it bad if it's against the rules. You're not supposed to fix other people's caches, but
we all do it though.
We all do it.
I think it depends, right?
Don't tell anybody. We don't tell geocaching.com that we're fixing caches.
So if you have,
go ahead.
If you have a totally destroyed log, you would try to fix it or just write a note in the cache log.
Yeah, I mean, I have found some that let's say you're talking about. I have found there was one that Susan and I found. It was a bolt, that you unscrew and there's the cache inside of it. Supposedly.
Right.
When I sort of dug out the remnants of that log that was in this particular one, it was a little pile, a tiny little pile about the size of a pencil eraser. There was no way you could sign this thing.
Right.
I mean, it was just a wadded up spitball. Those I'm going to put needs maintenance unless I have one, and a lot of times I have those. I can replace it, and then I let the cache owner know that I had to dig out his spitball, and I was able to fix it, which I know you're not supposed to do, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah. So and Jim kind of. So Jim Finch in the chat room hit almost exactly what I was about to say. If I can't replace it with a similar container, although log is what we're talking about right now,
Right.
then need maintenance perhaps. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
before we get to the containers, so if it's a log that I can just replace, and this sounds terrible, but it depends on the quality of the cache too, right?
Sure.
If it's something really special and the log is supposed to be a certain thing, that's
Yes.
a need maintenance.
Yes.
If it's just a pill bottle with a piece of paper in it, I'll try to replace that if I can. If I can't,
Right.
you know, it's totally destroyed, then I'll needs maintenance. But and somebody else said it too, that they'll add paper to it, but not necessarily take the old one away.
Yes.
I try to do that unless it's just mush, right? Because
Right.
some people really want to check and see whose name is on that log. So I try not to ever take it away, or if I take it away and it's somebody I know, I'll give it to them. And I've given old logs to people before.
Yeah, and I've done this a couple times. I don't know, Jesse, if you've ever done this, but I've taken old logs and I've laminated them.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool because they either meant something, or, you know, so yeah. But I tend to I'll make a note about the fact that, hey, if possible, let's leave. Although in this case, most of these I had to replace the container for whatever reason, or they were going to be archived because I was going to redo that area for some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to have these cool logs. But so
kind of on that, let's hit the container thing as well, since that's so close to it.
Yeah, that's
container good. Is busted.
Right.
That's a needs maintenance to me. Now, if I have one, and I usually keep a variety of containers, you know, just for that purpose. You know, if it's a standard bison, you know, or it's a standard pill bottle, you know, camouflaged up or whatever, for it's something standard that's just really, really generic, and it looks like a cache that is generally being maintained, you know, I'll replace that and I'll write a note. Or if I can't, then needs maintenance.
Right.
This container needs maintenance and needs to be fixed.
And you and I are in complete agreement of the fact that we have to be very careful that we don't duplicate. Like, we can't say, oh, that cache isn't here anymore. And we put down one and we end up becoming one of those throwdown people, which we don't want to do.
And I found 3 containers in one location recently.
Oh my God.
3, and I could see them all from one, you know, from one perspective. I could see all 3 of them.
Oh my gosh.
They were all like, it was even like 2 pill bottles and 1 like other type container.
Yeah.
So the only way I replace one is if I know for a fact what it is, right? There's a description of it, or it's one of those, and this sounds bad, but low quality caches that are just, you know, there's hundreds of them out in the middle of nowhere. It's not like something special. It's this is, you know, it says this is just another cache, you know, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay, it is what it is, right? It's not something special that somebody worked on or whatever. And I'm sure that that was the original container.
Yeah.
I'm not going to replace a pill bottle when it was supposed to be like an ammo can.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
Which is what drives me nuts.
And there's, I don't know if you've run across this situation, but when Susan and I were down, there was a location in East Texas where we did a power trail. And the power trail was a Halloween themed. I've told you about this. There's a Halloween themed cache trail, which is really cool. I mean, the person did great job, and they put in every description of every container, and I appreciate this too. They put in there, and she wrote a really nice note. So she wasn't trying to be snarky or anything, but she said, if the container is either damaged or missing, let me know. Don't put anything else down as a temporary. She said, just let me know, and I will. And she's very good about keeping track of and maintaining her caches.
That's awesome, but rare.
It is very rare. I mean, but every one of those caches, and that trail is quite long. Every one of those containers is either a bat or it's all Halloween themed. So
you can't replace that with some silly pill bottle.
No,
that's wrong.
No.
So what about this? I'm
Is
gonna throw
rare
this
though.
out there because I'm gonna bring it up twice tonight, but this is one of them.
Okay.
Containers busted.
Okay.
And what I'll do, another one of the things, and somebody mentioned, message the CO. Well, I usually do that too, and if I can, I do it right from the area, just in
Right.
case while I'm out cashing, if they, no, don't replace that or whatever else.
Happen to see it. Sure.
So you check that, and you notice that the CO has not been active in a long time.
Yes.
So now are you just keeping a crappy cache going for no reason? It's like a ghost cache. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you keep it going at that point? Just for
I
the
had.
smiley, and then it stays out there, and it blocks
Mhm.
up a space that people can't use with a better cache. When
Mhm.
this person probably downloaded the app and dropped a cache and quit 3 years ago.
Yep.
That's when I usually won't do it.
Right. I'm with you. I will not do that. I do. I will check to see if this cache is, like you said, has, I don't care if it's been found recently. I want to know, is the owner active? And if they haven't been on for 2 years or something, I'm not fixing those caches.
I'm going to say something later. Remind me to bring this up again in the Needs
Okay.
Archive. I'm going to say something that's going to make people mad, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
So,
all right. Making
okay.
notes.
So what else?
Make
Here's
people
one that I'll
mad.
admit to. My favorite, and also the one I hate the most,
Doing the
is
notes right now. Make people mad. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Where I goes. I love them to death, but also
Well,
at times hate them the most, right?
mhm.
Because what happens? Those cartridges mess up, and I don't even know how this happens. Now I clearly put on my where I go cache pages.
Yep.
Do not use a GPS. Use a smartphone.
Right.
Because I use music and hidden zones and other things like that will just generally will not work on a GPS. And inevitably I get, this would not work on my Garmin. No crap.
Right.
Did you even read the page, or did you just start go?
Yeah, really.
I had to borrow somebody's smartphone to do this. Dude, did you read it? But that's usually in a note, right?
Yeah.
But I'll get one that's been out there forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2 years, and then all of a sudden it'll mess up on a few people's phones. I'm like, I didn't change that cartridge.
Yeah,
What is buggy about that? I think it's just some kind of update on phones or something like that. So I've seen those before.
Okay.
Now that would be a needs maintenance, right? You get halfway through a cartridge and it just drops. And it's 2 or 3 people have said that same thing. I think you got to look into it.
That's a needs maintenance for sure. I've had a couple where I goes. Well, let me back up. There have been of where I go that I had where.
Oh, look at this. We have a family member in the chat room.
Oh, do you? Or
no, you do.
I do. Oh,
Josh Slinkard.
Josh is on. Wow.
What a celebrity. Apparently it's your favorite son.
Is my favorite son. Well, yes, especially because we just swapped houses. So yes.
There you go.
Yeah, he is the favorite son. Now his twin brother's coming this weekend, so you never know. He might have to become the favorite son for a temporary. I used to do that. I used to do that all the time, where I'd tell them that they're the favorite, and then I would switch. Like a few hours later, I go, "No, you're now the favorite." So,
well, I'm sure they do that with you and Susan too. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the favorite parent when you're the only one in the room.
Josh, by the way, and we'll get back to the notes, but Josh, by the way, is really good at finding caches. So if you ever need somebody, come grab Josh and take him out with you, because he finds them. He's like, we all have a member of the family. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if Christy's like this for you, but you're staring at a tree and you're like, I can't see it.
Oh yeah,
I can't see it.
That's like my kryptonite,
right? And I don't know,
green bison in an evergreen tree. Just I move on.
Or Haley, or somebody would walk up and go, "Dad, it's right there," and you're like, "Dang it, I can't believe that." So okay, so 2 situations. Let me ask you about. Okay. One of my where I goes had one of the clues was a Chinese restaurant. The Chinese restaurant is gone.
I did that where I go.
Yes, you did. And so I had to fix that one. That's a definite needs maintenance. Mm-hmm. There was one that I wish that it had better maintenance on it. We get to, I don't know how many stages into this thing we were. In the sea, we weren't very far into the where I go. And when the owner had done it, the name of the street, which street names don't change very often,
Mhm.
but this one did. And so we're like, there's no way to answer this question because their street names are not correct. The CO did help us, and they said we sent a note to them before we didn't do a needs maintenance, but we were going to. But we sent a note, like you're saying, this is a good idea. We sent a note. The CO responded immediately, and we were able to continue the where I go. So that was kind of cool.
But that needs maintenance will give them a quicker indication than just a write note on the page, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. I don't.
So there is a use for it.
Do you use write note much? I don't use write note much.
I do.
Do you? Okay.
I'll write things on there. Yeah. If it's something that just doesn't apply to one of the others, right? Like it's not a needs maintenance or it's not something else and it doesn't really help the log any, or I didn't find, or I couldn't, it didn't really fit another category. I'll do a write note on there.
Okay.
But, so what about the area has changed significantly? Like maybe a new
that's
building construction, but you can still get to the cache, but it's changed enough that the terrain is totally different.
Oh. So it's the cache is still available, but yet the difficulty and the terrain have changed significantly.
Oh, and Steve pointed out a good use for write note if you're just dropping off travel bugs somewhere.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I do that a lot. Like if I find a good safe cache that I've found before, I'll still write a note.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it more in context with maintenance.
Yeah. If something significantly changed, and this is going to hit one of my pet peeves that we're not going to get into tonight, but people changing the difficulty and terrain once a cache is already out and has been found.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Why is that even allowed? That makes no sense.
I know that's your pet. That's a pet peeve.
That'll be on the pet peeve show. And
that's the pet peeve show. Yeah.
That might almost have to be a patron show because I don't know that we're going to be able to keep the right rating.
Keep the right
on that show.
Right. It's going to go explicit.
I don't want us to go explicit. This is a family show.
No, so. Family show. We have to keep that for
that one's going to be a hard one. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll have to have the buzzer on that one.
That's a good needs maintenance. I agree. That's a good needs maintenance. So
what about if you just can't find it?
No.
What if? Because I mess with you, right?
Because I suck at geocaching, so I'm not going to mark that
right.
Needs maintenance.
So you can't find it.
Okay.
I've definitely missed ones. Like if it's a tree hide, by green bison in a tree, it'd be right. I have to hit it with my face to find them. What if
you're gonna DNF those and move on, right?
So let me tell you one. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I love the DNF because I love to avenge DNFs. Right. To me, that's like a badge of honor. I love having DNFs because I'm going to go back. And my wife's like, yeah, how many times are we coming back before you find? I'm like, until we find it. Yeah, she gets annoyed by it. Now, so here's one that I did do some needs maintenance, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
So I went to one in Vail recently. We were doing part of that our month of celebration for anniversary or whatever.
Right.
Last 3 people didn't find it. Okay, no big deal.
No big deal.
I went there, didn't find it. So once I didn't find it, and it was a pretty low difficulty in terrain, right? Still could have missed it. Started looking through the notes, looking through several things. There was a picture, multiple pictures of exactly where the cache was.
Okay.
And there was a description of exactly where the cache was.
Oh no.
I was able to find. So let's say that it's like a pill bottle under a LPC, right? And it says pill bottle under LPC. You look under there and it's totally missing. Is that a needs maintenance?
Yes.
So you didn't find it, but you are absolutely sure that there's no trick to it, and it's just not there.
Let me throw you one better on that one.
Oh dear.
As we start to transition to the next topic.
Okay.
Let's say you come along and you do that exact thing, and you happen to notice in the notes that 2 other people did the exact same thing. They did not do needs maintenance, but they wrote the exact thing that you're thinking. Are you going to circumvent the needs maintenance and jump right into the A word?
archive, the word that you're scared of, but I'm not.
Are
I'll
you
throw an archive on there in a heartbeat if for certain reasons.
gonna just
So
boom? You're going right to it. Needs
yeah. So
archive.
here's where that needs maintenance would make no sense.
Okay.
If that cacher is not even around anymore.
Well, that's
Hasn't
true.
logged in since 2006, and people been keeping this crappy cache alive for them. That would actually be an archive. However, the needed maintenance will do the same thing because after 90 days, the reviewer will kick it out anyway.
Well,
They'll send them the email. They should.
Unless I love our reviewer. By the way, did you see the photo of our Texas reviewer? He was holding the flat Jesse.
I did. That was awesome.
So
that was great. I feel famous now.
You do, because you Texas reviewer went to the trouble of holding your crazy flat Jesse and taking a photo. But he's busy. He's very busy.
True.
Does it help if you know the reviewer well enough and you feel like that there's no reason to go through the extra process to go ahead and go, boom, needs archive?
Well, so here's the thing. And so as we transition back and forth, and IB geocaching brought up a good point. The cache may have moved, right? Because sometimes they do. Oh, yeah. Well, that's not the original intention of the owner. So that's where that needs maintenance is actually not a bad thing, right?
No, you're right.
So needs maintenance does not kick a cache out. It just points to the owner. It indicates the owner, and owner can take that off of there.
Right.
Owner maintenance, it's fixed. I do owner maintenance on mine, and I actually mark them owner maintenance on my caches. Yeah. When I go out and check on them or put new stuff on there, that can be done. The needs archive is a little different.
Yeah.
That's a little more, if they're not paying attention, it's going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's pretty radical.
So where would you do a needs archived?
Well, let me back up one second. So,
wait. Have you ever done a needs archive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I have. Only one that you got me to do.
No.
Okay.
That was, which by the way, that one did get archived, and I put a nice, cute, cool cache in place of that location at the rest stop because it needed a cool cache, and so I put one there. Yes, so if the owner, and there's some around where I work that I've had to do this on, which is pretty rare, because I usually just put needs maintenance and wait for the little thing to go off and let the reviewer do that. If the owner hasn't been on, this is my pet peeve, I guess, is if the owner has not logged in to geocaching.com in over a year, I almost want to archive every one of their stupid caches because they're definitely not. I don't, but you know what I'm saying? I
do, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
This is what's going to make people mad, and this may have to be a further discussion later, but so my number one reason for immediately putting a needs archived on there is a dangerous situation.
Yes.
So I was in Ohio recently, and I was in a city park going to find a cache. And not all reviewers are good about keeping up with. So that's true, and I think that's because they're busy. That's just true. Going back on that real quick, anytime I do a needs maintenance on a cache, I also put it on a watch list, and I watch what happens to that cache. Because if it's an important situation, I want to make sure something's getting done with it, right? If it's just missing, I don't care as much, but I still want to know. And if it shows back up, I want to go get it.
Right. Exactly. That's a good one.
I'm in Ohio. I'm in a park. I'm just going to find a standard traditional cache and walking this little trail. And it was like a YMCA type group at the playground or whatever. And I walked past them, and it was a really nice day. So I was taking my time. I walked, get to this clump of trees where the cache is supposed to be. And not only did I not see the cache container, I saw a bunch of used hypodermic needles and spoons and stuff on the ground.
Nasty.
I wasn't equipped to clean that up. So that's a needs archived, right?
Yes.
Immediately needs archived. It's a dangerous situation. I put a couple notes on there and even send a message. Then I went to go send a message to the cache owner. Well, guess what?
They're not on.
Hadn't been there in a year.
Right.
Hasn't been active in a year. So now nobody is going to see this. So if the reviewer gets on it and archives it, that's fine. So I made sure I put notes on there and everything else. And how can you tell if the owner hadn't been on it a year? Well, one, it says it on there.
Yeah, it'll show you.
But two, I don't trust that because I've heard different things about that. So then I check the last caches they've found and published or any notes that they've written.
That's a good idea.
And a lot of that's, over a year ago. They haven't done anything. They haven't found a cache in a year, and they're not doing anything with their caches, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, because it's just one of those things that I don't want kids to get hurt doing our game, right?
Exactly.
And that definitely could do it. So I'll start checking all their caches, and usually you'll see 2 or 3 of them have notes on them. They'll have needs maintenance on several of their caches.
Yeah.
So in that situation, there's no owner to go fix that cache. There's no situation where that's going to be quickly addressed. Maybe 30 days. So now you have people potentially in a city park going to a dangerous location for the next 30 days, even if the reviewer's 100% on top of it.
Right.
What do you
do? Wow.
So there's where there should be some kind of, if a cache is out there and published, that should only stay active as long as the cacher is staying active, right? Maybe not everybody caches. They go through personal things, everything else for a while, but a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not kicking them out of the game, but their caches, if nobody's watching them for a year, that could be a dangerous situation that has to be addressed. And I think they should go into some kind of mode where they can either be adopted or they start sending messages after 6 months. Hey, if you're not playing anymore, you need to archive your caches, because there's nothing you can do about those situations.
Right. A couple things you could, you could actually, this is another, after your needs archive, you could do, as I said before, I don't do a lot of write note, but you could write a note, put it on the cache page that says, do not attempt this cache, and here's why. You can also go down to the very bottom of that cache and find out who published that cache, who the reviewer was.
I'll send them an email too.
You could send them an email, right? Because
I think I did in this situation actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So Heather put a note on there so nobody will go find it. But if you're like me and like most people, you don't want to look when you first get there, you don't want to look in there because there's spoilers.
Yeah.
The warnings you get, don't look in the logs because there's spoilers unless you need a hint.
This is true. Yeah. No. I agree.
But to me, that seems like part of the contract, right? I'm going to put caches out. You say that you have to, and actually change that to 6 months now instead of a year, that you intend for it to be out permanently or at least a year. It should be that you're also only able to have them out if you're active in the game. Even if you just log in, you're supposed to maintain your caches anyway. So there's got to be some way to tell that. They have to be able to contact somebody if there's something dangerous.
Yeah. The dangerous is, and I know that our reviewer, if it's dangerous, he'll be on it. I've had a situation where the cache was on private property and it wasn't supposed to be on private property, and people just ignored it. They didn't. They didn't fix the situation. They overlooked it. They're like, oh well, yeah, it's on private property, but I'm not going to say anything. Right. And sure enough, there was a couple times where they crossed onto private property. They knew it was private property, and they were confronted by the owner and said, hey, what are you doing over here? This is private property. Now there's a whole show on, there've been plenty of times when I know either I or I know other people have had the situation where they were confronted by somebody. And you're on public property. There's no question about it. And some Yahoo, some jackwagon thinks that they own this street or something. It's like, you don't own this street. We are on public, or you're in a cemetery, and in Texas, cemeteries, as long as it's not a family cemetery, if there's multiple people buried there, it has to be public, and it has to be available to be accessed by the public. Texas law, and I've looked this up before, and somebody goes, hey, you can't be here. My cousin's buried here. Well, but you know what? There's 10 other people buried here, and they're all not related to you. So, whatever.
Yeah. So there's a difference there, right? So depending on how abrasively you're confronted, or how dangerously you're confronted, that may be an archive / needs maintenance or whatever on public property, right? Yeah. Hey, be careful. This Yahoo thinks whatever, right?
But if it truly is
at the same time, and I would email the owner immediately too.
Yeah. Well, the one situation that I had where it was clearly private property. this cache should not be here. And it wasn't like it didn't have the attribute on it, that was like,
Right.
this
And
is
I've been in that
somebody's
situation
private
myself too.
property. Yeah. And
As a
so it's
matter of
like,
fact,
mhm. And so
go ahead.
I did a needs archive because
Yes,
this
absolutely.
this cache is not supposed to be here. We already had the owner say, "What the heck are you doing on my property?" to other people, not to me. But
Right, right.
it's like, I'm not crossing this fence to go get this cache and sort of overlook it like a lot of people had done to that point. It's like, I'm sorry, we can't have this situation. It's
No,
going to make our,
same
like you
thing
said,
happened to me, and it was kind of a field type area or whatever. But
right,
the lady sure drove up and she goes, I am gonna call law enforcement on you right now, and I'm calling the sheriff, I'm gonna call the
right,
sheriff. But she was in the right because I didn't know it, but I was trespassing, right?
right.
That was an immediate needs archive. And I was like, I'm sorry, this is part of a
I'm,
scavenger hunt game.
I'm
Somebody
moving on.
have
Yep,
permission. I'll
yep,
show you exactly what I'm removing. I will remove it, and nobody else will come here, and I'll leave. And she was, she ultimately was friendly,
yeah,
but she was mad and she was right.
right,
I was not in the right, so I had to apologize, right? I'm like, I did not
right.
know. I assumed that there was permission. That's immediately a needs archive because I could have gotten arrested.
Yeah,
So that's what you're doing when you're put out there is people are trusting that you do that. So that was an immediate needs archived, right?
yeah.
And that's actually happened to me more than once. But like my
Mhm.
bad, I'll remove it. I'll put a note on there so nobody else shows up,
So you're helping.
But
That's a good move. Yep.
because you could, who knows? And there's a good question from the chat room.
Mhm. You bet.
Who gets the note when the original publisher has passed? Does a needs archive go into queue for all reviewers to see? So that'd be a question. So like, let's say that the cache owner is gone and the original reviewer is no longer a reviewer.
Oh, good
Is it
question.
like split up by geographic region? We'd have to ask a reviewer about that.
Yeah, we can ask
I would
one
assume it's
because
geographic region, right?
yeah,
Maybe. I
they've
don't know.
got to be getting those. No, I can check with our reviewer, but I guarantee you that, because see, Texas is kind of unique in that we have had two reviewers not fairly recently both passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Prime reviewer who he was really good. He his name in a sense is on thousands and thousands of caches as he's the publisher. And then we had Texas reviewer who also passed away, and now we've got Revan, I guarantee you, is getting those old. If you do a needs archive on one that had Prime reviewer as the publisher, I guarantee
Mm-hmm.
he's getting those because there's thousands. He would never. So he's getting those for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have you seen that would be an immediate needs archived?
Um, I think that like you said, the situations that we're referring to, if the this is tough.
Let me throw another one out there for you.
Okay, well, hang on, let me throw one at you first.
Oh no, see, I had a good one.
Okay, go ahead. I got one too.
Okay,
I
so
got one that you looked for one on too.
okay, clearly an old cache, right?
Okay.
Owner no longer there,
Okay.
and from the description, it obviously was a certain type of cache.
Okay.
I've seen this happen.
Mhm.
That was hard to get to, hard to find,
Those
and
are okay.
so let's say it's a 4-4,
Okay.
right?
Which are tough because 4-4 to me in East Texas is different than
Right.
4-4 in
But
Colorado.
let's say it
Anyway.
clearly says you're looking for a micro or nano, and it's a tree
Okay.
climb,
Okay.
right? Okay,
Gotcha. Okay.
hard to find. You get
Hard to find.
there, and it's been replaced, and it's a pill bottle at the bottom of the tree.
Oh, got you.
People are clearly not saying anything because they're getting the cheat easy, right?
They're
Come on, 4-4. I got to walk up here. Sweet. This
It's
ain't
like
a tree climb.
looting.
I'll just put it right back down there.
They're
Is that
looting.
a needs maintenance? Knowing that it's going to be nobody answering it or it needs archived.
Well, so you're saying is that the reason that needs maintenance won't work is because the owner's
One,
probably
it's
not
clearly not the cache intended, and two, the user is gone.
gone.
Or the owner, I guess, right?
This gets into another show we're going to do one day, which is geocaching ethics.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We're gonna do a show on geocaching ethics. Um,
You don't even have to answer it. I know the
I,
answer.
I think I'm gonna do a needs. I'm gonna at least do a needs maintenance. But like you said, if you think your needs maintenance is gonna go is just blowing in the wind, then I'm thinking that yeah, I might actually mark it as needs archive. I
So
really
let's
would.
hear yours, and I got one I'm going to throw out, and we're not even going to really get into it because it's going to be for the pet peeve show. But I want to do. I want to
Okay.
throw it out before we finish
So
up tonight.
we got the other because that one you just gave me was a great geocaching ethics thing. What do you
Right,
do?
right.
Because it's a free for it's a it's a free for all. It's like looting a store. I'm not the same thing, but in the game,
It's like a liar's cache.
in the sport that we're in, which is a whole other show because those are out there, right? There's
Yeah.
still liar's caches. They're still out there. And there's 5.5s that are out there that are not true.
Oh,
5.5s.
absolutely. They're crap. But
No.
okay. So what did you have?
Okay. Let's say there's a cache that's on a railroad trestle, and you know that the railroad trestle, it just kind of gets into okay, railroad trestles, at least I don't know what all
You're
the
talking
rules
about
are.
one of my all-time favorite DNFs. I already know. Go ahead.
Yes, it's one of your all-time favorite DNFs. In Texas, though, even though that train trestle clearly is no longer active,
I hope not.
because you and I both
It's
walked
not
out
connected.
there. We realized that there's nothing, there's no train going over that sucker. We
Right.
saw that. Now, regardless of the fact that you and I both couldn't find it, which eventually it did get archived, but that's not really. Would you mark that as needs archive, knowing that? Well, you don't know if they got permission or not, but
Right.
you don't see that they did not indicate. And this is where it's, I think, critical is that if they had gotten permission, and this is, I've done this before. We had one at a vet clinic nearby, and I made a note. Yes, it's at the vet clinic. Yes, it's on private property, and yes, I have owner's permission to place this cache here.
Yeah.
There was no note like that on this cache, and this particular owner runs loose with the rules, knowing that as well.
He's just bending the rules, but go ahead.
Would you mark that as needs archive?
No. And
Okay.
here's why.
Okay.
Let me give you two situations just like this.
Okay.
I found one before that was by a new cacher, and it was right by an active railroad track.
Oh,
and, like
okay.
within 10 feet.
Oh, which
not
is
good for kids. Not good.
Right.
That's
not good at all.
Needs immediate attention.
That should have gotten published, right? That
shouldn't have been, but I don't think it was a new railroad track. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
It must have just not showed up, right? So, right in the middle of that,
yep,
you said we didn't know whether that is even still railroad property or not, because this railroad you're particularly talking about doesn't even connect anymore.
No,
it's grown over. It's dilapidated structure and everything else.
Yeah,
that one you didn't know.
I did not know. No, I did not.
We had no way, so I definitely would take it out of the archive, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would move it away from the archive because there's no dangerous situation and it doesn't appear to be illegal at the face.
Yeah, well, it's dangerous, but then again,
but it's dangerous. It was like a 5 terrain or whatever, right?
Yeah, it was.
You know that going in, if you get hurt and you knew it was dangerous, that's just on you,
right? It clearly was. We knew it was a dangerous situation, but it was clearly,
So I don't even know that one needs maintenance because I don't have any indication that one's against any rule.
But there'd been several.
That one obviously is not a train track anymore.
No, clearly not.
Right? No. There's no way a train is driving down that it would blow up because it doesn't connect. Right? I mean, it just wouldn't happen. Right. That area has been converted to a public park, so it's more likely than not that's no longer even railroad property.
Probably
now, if that was in, if that was in my area and I was going to continue to spend more time because we didn't find that one, and I had a blast not finding it.
Yeah,
it was really hard. And it was scary, or like 50 feet up in the air or whatever, and
over a river
wood and everything. It was great. So I had so much fun with it. If I lived down there, I'd absolutely be going back there every day until I found it, without a doubt.
Which, by the way, no one ever found it, and eventually did get archived. But that's a different story.
What I would do in that situation, because I'm a little unsure, I just want to make sure I'm good if I'm going to be spending some time there, is I would email the owner and go, "Hey, is this legit or what?"
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to call him out on something I didn't know.
No, I agree.
But again, I know for a fact there's no active trains on that one. The other one I'm talking about had an active train on it, right? So that one needed to be immediately addressed.
Yeah, that's different. That one you knew should not be active. Should not be an active cache. That's true.
So, all right, let me throw my one out that we can talk about in our pet peeve show.
Okay.
So it involves a couple things, but it fits into this.
Okay.
And we've talked about it before, but we've never really gotten to the show. We keep saying it's for a later show, right?
Yes.
Is the needs maintenance attribute appropriate for no travel bugs in the container?
Oh gosh, yes.
And I'm not going to get into the big long thing because it drives me nuts because I like to hunt travel bugs, and they'll be in there, they'll be missing or whatever else for like dropped in here, been gone for a long time, right?
Right.
Generally, I just write a note on there, but the problem with that is there's nothing that a user can do.
Right.
However, so the argument against it would be the owner can't go out there and check it every day. The argument for it would be it's clearly laid out in the rules that it's part of geocache maintenance as the owner.
Yep.
Is the travel bugs. So it is maintenance. So it could be both ways right now. I'm not going to give my opinion either way on it right now. That's for another show, right?
That's for another show. But I like your question. That's a
so there's an argument on both sides that I've talked to people that have opinions on both sides.
And
because there's got to be a better system, right? My little one loves to hunt trackables. You can filter by trackables, and you go there and none of them are there. Right. And they haven't been there for a while, right? When you look back in the back logs, no trackables for 6 months. At some point, you got to have some responsibility and mark them missing.
Yep.
And only the owner, the trackable owner and the cache owner can do that.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about it too, is that that's the only people that can do anything about it. So in that sense, yeah, we'll have to keep our answer on that one for.
So that should, yeah. So note, nothing ever happens. Is it eventually it needs maintenance? So we'll have a fun discussion on the pet peeve show with that one.
It will be, because no one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
That's right.
Okay.
The original.
So this was a fun show. I have enjoyed it. I love our discussions on these. We want to wrap up?
Yeah.
Are we at that point? Okay. I'm going to let you
playing with the chat room again, of course.
Of course. Is there anything? The chat room's always so much fun.
Wait, did we forget about the clue tonight?
No.
I don't know if we did or not. Did we?
We did not. No, the clues.
Oh, okay. We didn't? Okay, good. Just making sure.
Clues published. I mean,
okay.
I mean, clearly we need to remember that there is a sucker born every minute.
True. True.
And the clue has been published. So there you go.
Okay, good deal.
In case you were wondering. So, all right. So I'm going to let you have the final word, and then I will wrap up. But it was a good discussion. I liked the discussion. I'm sorry we weren't able to have John on tonight, but we'll have John on at another date. Don't worry. The Bahamas trip is next year, but we want you to start planning for the Bahama trip. We'll get you all the details soon on an upcoming show. So, all right, Jesse, take us out with needs maintenance, needs archiving.
So as we're talking about this, and people listen to this show, and the people in the chat room, this is probably not your first introduction to geocaching, right? We're talking about people that are further on that have some experience and know what they're doing with geocaching. And I think part of our responsibility is properly using needs maintenance, needs archived. Dangerous situations or just busted caches that are not going to be maintained and the community is maintained and they have no value. We're not talking about a 2000 cache, right? That has a historical value. I mean, just a lamppost cache that's just another smiley and nobody's even there to maintain it. don't maintain that, or do whatever. That's your choice. But use the needs maintenance right. Use the needs archived right. Not because you didn't find it,
Yeah.
but because there's some situation that changes it, because it helps people. And also for that other show, is use the DNF also. If you just didn't find it, put the DNF there.
Please.
Stop being so ego driven and not writing your DNF on there. If you didn't
Please
find
write
it, it may
DNFs.
be
Oh my
missing,
gosh.
but you don't know. Use the DNF. Plus, it just marks it for Avenge later, right? That's an Avenge cache. You're going back after it. Put your DNF on there. Don't be so proud.
Right.
But use that because it's important. You're going out caching. You may be in an area for the first time. You don't want to stop at a needs maintenance. Somebody could have easily marked that needs maintenance and you could just move on. You know what I mean? Help your fellow cacher, use them properly, and contribute to the game.
Yep. Very good. Thank you. That was perfect. Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Geocache Talk, at Gary Slinkard. Been doing a lot of Instagram lately. Geocache Talk, one word, and Memphis Mafia, one word, on Instagram. And our Facebook page, facebook.com/Geocache Talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button below. And if you click on the bell, it'll also remind you on a weekly basis about it. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved. We got an active chat room. We got the best chat room.
Oh gosh, yeah.
In all of podcasting.
Matter of fact, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not even listening to you. I'm playing the chat room.
Yep. I don't need you to listen to me anyway, because you already know all this. But we do. We have the greatest chat room around, and that's part of the fun. I like our chat room, folks. Sometimes they're on topic, sometimes they're off on their own little bunny trails, and that's fine too. That's what we're there. That's what it's there for. And Jesse does a great job of keeping track of if there are any questions, and because I'm bad at that. So Jesse, you can't ever leave the show, because otherwise I don't know what we would do.
I'm not. You're stuck with me.
Good. I'm glad. And until next week, well, I need to mention who's on next week, by the way. Is this right? Land Monkey? Land Monkey's going to be on the show next week. I think it's accurate. So Land Monkey's going to be on the show next week. We're going to talk about Iceland and beyond. Really excited, actually, about having Jay on to hear about caches in Iceland and then caches in Sweden and Estonia. He got to hang out a little bit with John Paul Barr, our sponsor over in Estonia. And looking forward to that show. Land Monkey's always great, and I am looking forward to that. I kind of kid him, but got to meet him in Cincinnati. We had a great time at Gigastock. But looking forward to Land Monkey. In 2 weeks, Roger Woods is going to be on the show. He is a disabled cacher, and we're really kind of looking forward to discussing. This is a great topic because do you mark something as wheelchair accessible? You should, but do you do it properly? And I know Roger's going to help us out and tell us exactly how we should be doing this. And so I'm really excited to have Roger on to really help us out and let us know what it's like and what we need to do as a community as far as caching for those that are in a wheelchair or disabled in some different ways. And then in 3 weeks, hopefully John Bishop will be back on or be back. We'll be back because we had him on earlier in the year, but we're hoping to have him on in 3 weeks to talk about caching the waves, Bahamas. So anyway, all right. Well, until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Use the needs maintenance and needs archived appropriately and go geocaching. Good night, everybody.
Night.